the crash. Of course, all of you know about this. But one thing that was very interesting is how Flare had no issues because the way that they have the oracles and the price feeds means that they are much more resistant to price manipulation or bad feeds because it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a manipulation. It's just that there's a bad price feed, and a lot of people got liquidated because of a bad feed from Binance. So I think what happened is that Binance had like one price feed to their stablecoin, and somebody dumped. So then the token depegged, and then that price feed started looping everything because then one depeg created under collateralized positions that started liquidating, and then that just created a cascade effect where other prices started depegging. So that was happening on Binance, and all the other oracles that are fetching from Binance, they're pushing that data. How Flare works is that you have over 100 validators, and each validator is listening to all the price feeds from different sources. And then once all of those price sources get agreed upon, they push it to the network. So that's one validator having like an agreement of prices. And then all the other validators are gathering all the price data and then pushing it. Like when they agree, they push it to the network. If they don't agree, then they don't push it to the network, which I think that's what makes it super powerful because then it's a complete agreement of what's going on as opposed of just one bad price feed. So somebody told me that on XDC, there's like the EVM sidechain. I don't know what's the name of the protocol. They completely halted. Like they just completely halted. They couldn't operate because their oracles were a mess. Somebody said that on Strove they got liquidated and they had a similar position on Flare and they didn't. And I think that for these very serious kind of financial instruments that are beyond just like meme coins or whatever, this creates confidence that somebody can bring a big chunk of capital and that they're not going to get liquidated because of a bad price feed. Because sure, like if there's a crash and market moves against you, then there's not much that you can do about it. But when the problem is a bad price feed, like there you're helpless completely. So I think that that's a very interesting thing. And like we crashed, and 20 minutes later, I was entering an LP. And for me, it was just kind of like very seamless. And talking it with my business partner, Steve, he was like, oh man, I didn't even think about it. I just took it for granted that the network was just still working when that would not be said for everybody else. So I feel like the gather of all those little details is what actually
Yeah,
together
well,
what together creates that value that you're like, okay, I see all of these little things that together create more confidence on the network. And by this, I'm not saying go and put all your money in there. I'm just saying it's like those little checks that get those tests that get checked and passed. That together they create a much stronger case for the Fair network compared to other DeFi protocols. I mean, even Sui went down 85%. That's wild. Sui is a top 10 coin. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. um, the next thing that